up, my loves? Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. I'm so happy that you're here. In today's episode, we're diving into the real reason you can't stay consistent, and it is definitely not what you think. We're also talking about the behavior loop that's actually controlling your outcomes and your results, why you keep starting over even if you're trying and taking the action, how your identity, nervous system, and emotional state actually impact your follow through. We're also going to dive into how to actually make consistency feel natural instead of forced. Okay, we're taking it from that identity level, so let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome to the It Girl Mindset, where I help you step into the next level version of yourself by mastering your mindset, manifesting your deepest desires, and connecting deeply with your body. It's about becoming the most authentic, radiant, unapologetic, and unbothered version of yourself. Together, we're going to chat about how to unlock your true potential and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're ready to become the healthiest, hottest, and most abundant version of yourself, you're in the perfect place. Let's get into it. I know consistency isn't sexy or cool, but I want to make it cool because it's honestly the thing that's actually going to get you to where you want to go. Also, you know about me, I'm all into my soft girl discipline where we're listening to our intuition and letting our mind and body tell us what it truly needs. And that's not just with health and fitness, it's with everything in your life. Whatever your goal is, whether that is to post online, start a side hustle, become a business owner, or maybe you already are a business owner and just want to be more consistent, right? Like maybe that is with your health and fitness goals. Consistency is not sexy, but it's the thing that's going to get you to where you want to go. Now, the reason that you have struggled to stay super consistent, again, it's not because you lack discipline or you're lazy. It's because you're trying to force behavior without actually changing what's driving it. Let's talk about what actually drives consistency, and I want to introduce you to the behavior loop. I did talk about this on the last podcast episode, so if you want to check that out, please do. That's episode 176. I'll even link it down below for you. But we're diving deep into it on this episode as well. So I wish I could show you guys my drawing. It's not good, so I don't want to show you, but I was like scribbling this out because I wanted to really make it crystal clear and explain it in a crystal clear way. The reason it's so hard to just be like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. If you haven't woken up at 5 a.m. normally, maybe you wake up at 7 a.m. and you're like, I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. because I want to go to the gym. Okay, love that. That's a real part of you. That's a conscious part of your brain that's like, hell yes, let's do it. 95% of our beliefs stem from the subconscious mind, which again is under the radar. It's automatic behaviors. Okay, so now if you want to change your behavior to wake up at 5 a.m., we can't just try to change it at behavior level because you're going to default to what's normal to you, right? If you typically wake up at 7 a.m., your alarm's going to go off. You're probably going to hit snooze and go back to sleep. We need to get to the root, and the behavior loop is as follows. So first, the root is your identity and your self-image. That's who you truly believe that you are. If you're someone that says, I'm someone that wakes up at 5 a.m. and goes to the gym, and you actually believe that that's who you are, that's what you're actually going to do. But if you're someone who's like, yeah, I'm not super consistent, I don't really trust myself, I've tried to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym multiple times, but for some reason it isn't working or isn't sticking, or maybe it sticks for 2 weeks and then doesn't work, that's because it's actually not, you haven't shifted at an identity level. Just because you want something doesn't mean it's who you believe that you are. Does that make sense? So we've got identity, and what drives your identity is your beliefs. We talk so much about our beliefs on here. Your subconscious mind is running the show. It's 95% of your thoughts, your actions, how you take action, and in turn your opportunities, okay? And then we have your beliefs, right? They're so intertwined and complex, and we typically learn them from ages 0 to 7. We've learned things from experiences, things people have said, how we were raised, what the world tells us is right? Then we've got our nervous system. So that's almost like this internal alarm. That's like, are we safe? Are we not? Are we safe? Are we not? It's constantly scanning 24/7. Are we safe? Are we not? Then we have our emotions, right? Whether our emotions are super happy or really sad, low energy, whatever it may be, those emotions actually dictate how you show up. Okay. We've got emotions and we've got behavior. Your behavior is then reinforced by your identity. Okay. If your identity is, okay, I'm a gym rat, I wake up and go to the gym. Your beliefs support that. I am someone who wakes up and goes to the gym. Your nervous system is like, yep, good to go. This is safe. We believe that we're this person who wakes up and goes to the gym at 5 a.m. That's safe. Let's continue. Your emotions reconfirm that. Your behavior is you wake up and go to the gym. Now, because you've actually done that behavior, that's reinforcing your identity, right? If you, maybe stay consistent for 2 months, waking up and going to the gym Monday through Friday at 5 a.m., that behavior is reinforcing that identity. You're like, yep, I'm someone who goes to the gym in the morning, right? See how all of these pieces tie into each other, all dictating your behavior, okay? Just trying to be like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go to the gym at 5 a.m., that's going to be really, really hard for you. Yes, if you are one of those people that has so much willpower and you do it, great. If you can hold on to that willpower long enough to actually re-ingrain those neural pathways to actually create change, great. I love that for you. But a lot of people need more deeper work, okay? We're peeling back the onion layer, right? So if you actually want to be consistent, the easiest way to do it is change who you believe that you are and change your identity. And also ways that you can do that is change your beliefs, regulate your nervous system, master your emotions by learning how to feel and process them, right? That in turn will change your behavior, okay? And look, that's not just going to change your behavior, it's going to change who you believe that you are. And when you change who you believe that you are, the possibilities are endless. Okay. That's why I'm obsessed with this work, because I think it's fucking insane that we can just change who we want to be. We can literally change any second, any day, any hour, who we want to be. I think that's so amazing, Hi, my love. If you're someone who's built a life for herself that looks pretty good on the outside, you've got the house, the job, the partner, but something just feels off and you just cannot quite put your finger on it, you probably keep getting this feeling that you're meant for more, but haven't actually worked up the courage to do anything about it. If this sounds like you, I want to personally invite you to The Code. The Code is a high-touch, private mentorship container for the women ready to do the deep work to become the hottest, richest, and most successful versions of themselves. It's time to create a life that feels as good as it looks. This isn't another framework to follow. It's about releasing emotions, limiting beliefs, and old patterns that are truly holding you back from becoming the hottest, richest, most successful version of you in a way that's actually authentic to you. When you recode your mind, body, and energy, you wake up with energy, excited to take care of your body and absolutely crush your day. You admit to yourself that you want to be wealthy and go after it, not from a state of delusion, but pure knowing. You make decisions and trust yourself. You're absolutely obsessed with the life that you're building because it's your version of success. Your code is about learning yourself, not a watered down version of you, but the deep down big version of you that kind of scares the shit out of you. If you're ready to meet that version of you, apply below. The link is down in the show notes. I can't wait to read through your application. Okay, back to the episode. And I know I talk about my story a lot on here, but it's like I used to party my face off in college and then decided to change my identity and become a professional dancer and be a 49er cheerleader, perform at the Super Bowl. That's a good example of this. So I just decided, I was like, okay, I kind of have these moments where I'm like, there's been like multiple of these in life where I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And that pain is so deep that I literally flip on a switch. This has happened multiple times, but one of the big ones was becoming a professional dancer. And it actually was revenge because I had this ex-boyfriend who broke up with me and I was like, I wasn't expecting it. And I was literally in Washington, D.C., had to fly home early because I was so upset. But I remember just like, I put my headphones on at the airport and I was like, fuck this. I am not going to let him make me this sad. I literally got in the best shape of my life. I joined this training program for aspiring professional dancers and I crushed it. I would like do so many things to push myself out of my comfort zone. I was working out. I was eating healthy. Like I was in this mindset of like, I'm going to get there no matter what. Like no questions asked. I don't care what I have to do. Like I'm going to get there. Okay. So my identity, I switched my identity. I was like, nope, I'm going to be the kind of person who acts like a professional dancer. I also changed my beliefs to be like, okay, I believe that I'm a professional dancer. I brainwashed myself, right? The only thing missing during this era was my nervous system. I was completely dysregulated and I was like overachieving to compensate, which is a whole other topic we could go down. Okay, but like my beliefs were fueling my emotions because I was so motivated to get there that my behavior, I acted like I already was a professional dancer. I was locked in, truly locked in. And that behavior reinforced my identity of like, see, I am the person that follows through. See, I am the person that shows up and takes dance classes and pushes herself, right? Then that behavior reinforced a bigger identity in me. When I actually made a team, I was like, holy shit, I can actually do anything that I want to do. Then we went to Super Bowl and I was like, I can literally be anyone I want to be. I just literally decided that one day in the airport after being broken up with that I was going to completely change my identity and become a professional dancer. And then I was like at the Super Bowl and I was like, I really did that. Okay. That changes what you believe is possible for you. And I'm a normal human. Okay. I'm a normal human. I'm not anything special. I'm not more special than you. You're not more special than me. You can do anything that you want to do. You can change anything about yourself that you want to change, right? And it comes from mastering the behavior loop, changing your identity, your beliefs, your nervous system, your emotions, which will change your behavior, which will reinforce that identity, okay? This behavior loop is so powerful when you understand it. I hope I'm explaining it in a simple enough way to where you're truly understanding that you can be whoever you want to be, okay? Period. End of discussion. I believe in you if you don't. Okay, now let's talk about, now that you understand the behavior loop, I want to dive into a couple of hacks just to make consistency easier, right? Because yes, we've got the deep work of the behavior loop, which is very, very important. But there's also some other things that I wanted to mention, some other hacks. So first off is leaning into unconditional self-love. When you start to look at your shadows, the shadows are the parts of yourself that you're maybe afraid to look at. You become unstoppable because there's nothing that someone can tell you that you've actually looked at and know that that's not true, or it's a part of yourself that you've accepted so it doesn't bother you. Right? When you look at the depths of yourself in that way, it's so freeing. Like, just as an example, I used to be really like self-conscious about my looks. I didn't believe I was actually pretty. And I had someone comment on a YouTube short video, basically making a comment about my looks. It was like my eyebrows or something. I don't know. A past version of me would have spiraled and been like, oh my God, they think I'm ugly. Like, oh my God, freak out. But because I've done the deep work on myself, I'm like, okay, I got thick eyebrows. Like, what do you want from me? You know? And I know that's like, it's actually not a silly example because I think a lot of us have wounds about how we look. It's, you know, we live in a physical world, so it's hard not to, especially with social media and comparison and everything like that. But when you look at those shadows of things you're afraid to look at, everything else just feels freeing because you don't care what other people think, right? And there's layers to this, of course. It's not like every single thing. If someone says something mean to me, I'm not automatically like, yep, don't care. You know, there's layers to this, and that's what doing the deep work is about. But in terms of unconditional love and staying consistent, it's really, really and truly about showing up from a place of care and love and honoring your future self rather than hating yourself or saying I'm going to be miserable until I actually get to this goal, right? Goals are fleeting. They're ever changing, ever evolving. You're never going to feel happy if you say I'm going to wait until that. But if you truly start to look at loving yourself now unconditionally, accepting your past, your present, and your future while striving to reach your goals, it's going to make consistency feel so much easier, right? Again, you guys know I love to use examples of the gym because I think it's a really good way that everyone can understand, because sometimes I'll use business examples, whether you run your own business or not. But with the gym, it's like I used to hate myself into going to the gym, right? I would force myself. I used to force myself to go to the gym, and it was because I hated my body. I was like, you need to go work out. I was saying this to myself. You need to go work out because you're fat and XYZ and all these things, right? Like I was hating myself into going to the gym. I remember even in college, I had this alarm on my phone. This is sad, but I just want to show you guys that, like, not show, but I just want to help you guys understand how dark of a place I've been in, you know, just because it's like, if I can get out of my deep dark hole, so can you, right? Or maybe even resonate, right? Like, I don't want to cookie cutter, beat around the bush. I want to tell you what I actually was moving through. And I hated myself. I hated my body at this time. And so I would have alarms on my phone that said, wake up, you fat ass, and go to the gym, with a little running person emoji. Like, that's where I was at in college when I hated myself and I hated my body. I thought that would work. And guess what? I never stuck to the gym. I muted that alarm 90% of the time, right? It's because hating yourself is never actually going to get you to where you want to go. And even if you do hate yourself into reaching the goal, you're not going to magically start loving yourself once you have the achievement that you said you would. It doesn't work that way. You have to do the internal work. And that's why, honestly, a consistency hack is loving yourself and doing that internal work to show up from a place of love instead of fear. Okay. Hack number 2 is to stop making your routines boring. Okay. I feel like we live in such a serious time where it's like you need to lock in and focus, but it's like, how can you lock in and focus in a way that's enjoyable, right? And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I think about like when I write things, I'm not very good at writing at home for some reason. I need to be like out in the world, whether I'm on a plane. Oh my gosh, I can literally just vibe and I'm in a flow state when I'm on a plane and like write a million emails or Substack or whatever. I am genuinely in a flow state. Same with when I go to a coffee shop, like I'm just so locked in and focused and can write like nobody's business, right? Like I'm changing my environment. So what can you do to make whatever routine that you want, whether that's career, business, health related, money related, right? Like even for me, looking at my inflows and outflows, like my income and expenses, right? I just feel like inflows and outflows is cuter. That's not the most exciting thing ever, right? But how can I make it more enjoyable for me? So for me, I signed up for something called Monarch, and that just makes it so much more organized and easy to do, right? Like it doesn't need to be boring and I don't have to be in an Excel sheet, like writing down every single expense that I have, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to make it not boring. Even maybe you want to get into the habit of reading, right? And maybe sometimes reading feels like boring and you don't really like it and you can't stay consistent, but it's like, okay, cool. How can you make it more fun? What is something that you do love in the morning? Maybe that's your coffee, your matcha, whatever it may be. Maybe it's going and sitting on a bench, maybe you need to change your environment. Whatever it may be, stop making your routines boring. It's unnecessary. It's very unnecessary. You can literally make anything fun. Also, joy and authenticity are like the highest frequencies. And so you're going to become an energetic match to more opportunities, right? Like it's so interesting. Like let's just say you wanted to go write at a coffee shop, right? You grab your laptop, you go, and then you're like, oh, this is so fun. I got my cutesy little coffee. I'm writing. And then maybe you run into someone or you meet someone that offers you a job, right? Like again, I'm just making this up, but like you never know what could happen. And when you're in that frequency of joy and authenticity, you're going to attract and notice more things as long as you, of course, rewire beliefs, get that glass, dissolve that glass wall in front of you. If you listen to my last podcast episode, you know what I'm talking about. And again, it's like you want to match your internal code. You don't want to force yourself into things, right? Yeah, it comes a time where it's like sometimes you gotta suck it up and go through things, but like also, why not make it easier on yourself by actually doing the things and matching your unique code, right? There's probably someone, maybe you're one of those people, even my boyfriend's like, he's like, I can't work at coffee shops because I'm distracted by everyone there. Like I'm looking around and watching, right? So he's probably not the person to go write at a coffee shop. But for me, I can lock in. I almost like being surrounded by people. I'm like, there's like this world moving around me and I've got music in and I'm just like locked in, right? But again, that depends on your code, how you run, how you work, right? It's not about what I do. You shouldn't just go to a coffee shop because I say you should go to a coffee shop and focus. No, it's about you and what's actually going to work for you is not what's actually going to work for me. What's going to work for me is not what's going to work for you. It's about learning your authentic code of yourself, okay? Hack number 3 is to make it easy, okay? Your brain loves to conserve energy. It's always taking the path of least resistance, which is why you might as well make it easier on yourself, okay? So just a couple of things, like plan your week ahead of time. Reduce that decision fatigue, okay? If you're one of those people where you just wake up, and especially if you're a business owner and you're like, okay, what do I do now? It's like, that's going to be so much effort. You want to take the path of least resistance. Okay, even example, lay your workout clothes the night before. If you have a goal to 5 a.m. gym girly era, right? Make it easier on yourself. If you have to like go and pick out an outfit, that's just making it more challenging, right? Maybe you want to lay your keys and a water bottle out the night before so you can just have your workout clothes, put them on, brush your teeth, go out the door, bam. Okay. And even if there are things that you want to not be consistent at, maybe some habits you want to let go of, make it harder for yourself. Okay. Even just as an example, very simple example, like let's just say you've been in a habit of grabbing snacks throughout the day because you're feeling bored. There's a whole emotional piece to that I'm not going to go into right now, but just to keep this very simple, don't have your snacks laying out on the counter right where you can see it, right? Put it away. Put it in a cabinet, put it in the back, whatever it may be. Make it harder for yourself. Even for me, for example, just using a phone, I have very strict phone rules for myself. If I'm doing deep work, especially filming or something that I really need to get done, phone is out of the room, out of sight, out of mind. If my phone's sitting here, I could easily, I mean, we're all addicted to our phones. I could easily just pick it up and be like, oh, what's going on? Probably nothing. But guess what? Because it's right there, I'm making it harder on myself by just like, okay, resist the phone, instead of just removing it from my office. Okay, hope this is making sense. Okay, so again, your brain loves to conserve energy. That's why we have subconscious programs, because beliefs take energy, right? Anything in your brain, it takes energy, and it's going to default to the easiest path possible, okay? That's why changing your behavior can be so hard sometimes, is because your brain's looking for the path of least resistance. Those neural pathways are deep and ingrained. That's why it's so hard to just be like, okay, I'm going to change, right? Your brain's like, no, that's not what we do. We take the easy route, the more energy efficient route, okay? And that means we snooze our alarm and don't wake up till 7, okay? And hack number 4 is to do the deep inner work, okay? And join the code. This is my brand new one-to-one private mentorship. Like I said, I only have 3 spots open, but this is for you if you're one of those people who you're doing the work, right? You're taking the action, but you're still not seeing momentum in your life, right? In the code, we're going to make consistency not feel forced. It's going to feel absolutely natural because it's a part of who you are, right? Going back to that behavior loop, your habits and behaviors are going to feel easy, not because they're easy, right? But because they're part of who you are. Your beliefs align with your identity, your nervous system feels safe, your emotions are regulated, and in turn, you're going to be the most consistent queen you've ever been in your life, okay? If the code sounds like exactly what you need and you're ready to do the deep inner work, I do have a link down below where you can go ahead and apply. It takes a few minutes. I'm so excited to read through your application. Okay, my love, consistency. Remember, she's not sexy, but she's going to be the thing that actually gets you to where you want to go, whether that's body, money, career, love, happiness, whatever it is. We're doing the deep inner work, okay? If you loved this episode, please rate and review the show. It helps the show grow so much, and I know how easy it is not to do it. So if you're on Spotify, please just click the stars at the top. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and leave a written review. It would really mean the world. You guys are my freaking girlies. I'm so happy that you're here. Any questions, mindset shifts, thoughts that came about, drop them in the comments below, or go ahead and email me or message me on Instagram. I can't wait to hear from you. Okay, my love, that wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode.